Hello? And welcome to the official countdown to Halloween. So, boy, was this difficult. This was, as they say, a difficult birth. Hi, everybody. We're finally here. We're all here in this, in the most gothic of crypts, as we're counting down to spirits. Welcome everybody. So welcome Candy Fluff, VLTN, Jack, Gary, Debbie, Katie, Aisha, Iris, Alina, Sunny. Oh my God, so many. Hi everybody, Mrs. Blue, Robert Wilson. Robert Wilson? Are you making a new show, Robert? Nicole Popinchuk, the CC Spy. Thank you so much, CC Spy. Gothic really suits me. Thank you, my black heart. Whoop whoop. Hi, Sobe. Hello, happy days. Rich Mitch, how you doing, sweetie? Yes. Cami V, MC. Hello, Black Noise. Angelic here vlogs. Hello, Skitty. hello, Skitty. Antonella Abraham. Hi, everybody. So, I'm gonna burn myself on the candles. Will I? I don't know. This is the only light a vampire can take, actually. Also, so there's a lot of topics I want to touch base with you guys. I apologize for the super delay. There have been several types of difficulties, most of them technical. But I'm here. Better late than never, right? And we get our Saturday bash. For some, it's a bit late now. For some, it's early in the morning. We're all here together. That's the most important thing. And we're going to have a lot of fashion topics, a lot of what's coming up products wise from brands, collaborations, really weird ones, by the way, perfumes. We're going to talk about luxury YouTubers as well, because that's what we do. But now for all of you who are already watching, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for thumbing up the video, for subscribing. Thank you to all my members and patrons, and big round of applause to all of our wonderful mods who are keeping us safe in the fashion bunker. We got Debbie, Gary, Jack. I don't know if everybody's actually here. May might not be in the chats. And Audrey. Thank you guys so much for keeping us safe. And right, Jack. Tier 2 member since 4 months. Oh, I get a member milestone chat. Love you, Vampire King. Oh, love you too, Jack. Oh, Jack is our oh my God, I'm missing the word, Jack. You know I always use that adjective for you. Warlock. Now I'm a little bit confused. Let me just tell you why. I'm gonna put this down before I burn myself or before something bad happens. This is forecasting things to come in the fashion bunker. So I'm just gonna let you guys know that the fashion topics are coming. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Now, before I get to the fashion topics, please bear with me just for a couple of moments. Okay, then the setting is going to change. Don't worry, we're not going to stay gothic all the way through. But for the beginning, I think it's important to mention this. Now, a lot of you probably have heard of, and actually, whoa, no more blondie Dacob. Agent says, I mean, this is my natural hair color. It's just that I'm not illuminated as much. So a lot of you have probably heard about the kind of one of the biggest tragic stories that have happened this week or these past weeks. Now, I know there's always worse than worse than worse. There's always bigger tragedies, and we could always start. This is not a place where we compare which tragedy is worse than which other tragedy. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. This is a very particular topic. And I would like to, for the occasion, turn on the chats on the side, because I'm sure a lot of you have something to say as well. Gabby Petito, and now bear with me, you guys. We're going to get to all the other topics as well, but this is just really important to touch base on this for several reasons. One, because for those of you who don't know, a young lady and her boyfriend, she was 22 and he's 23. And they were on the road through America. They're originally from New York, but then moved to Florida with his parents. So she's lived with him, with his parents. Anyway, she bought a van. They kind of modded the van and they wanted to travel across America in this van on an adventure. But unfortunately, this adventure ended horrifically. Gabby Petito was found dead. And Brian is missing. FBI is looking for him. He's on the run, so they say. But I've been obsessively following the news. Other wonderful YouTubers out there that report about this, that really deliver or try to deliver facts. So there are wonderful channels out there that talk about the facts. I'm not going to talk about the facts. I am going to talk about the emotions, which emotions have nothing to do with facts. Emotions have to do with heart, personal experience, memory, lack of memory, but most importantly, emotions have to deal with action and reaction. Emotions bounce off of you, and they bounce off of whoever's standing in front of you, whether they be your partner, friend, ally, enemy, frenemy, whatever. And I'm also going to talk to you about David Lynch and Twin Peaks. Now, from the second I heard about this story, Gabby was still not found dead. She was missing. There's just this eerie feeling about them in this van. And she started a blog, she started an Instagram profile, and how sad in our social media world today that only after her passing away did her Instagram profile reach over 1 million followers. Famous in death, but not in life. Somebody once told me that, artists from the past, they would be super poor during their lifetime and they wouldn't earn any money. Like Van Gogh, he died a peasant basically. I mean, he was also schizophrenic, cut off his own ear. But then they become famous after their death. And somebody once told me, one of the bigger curators I met said, Dacob, in our day and age, artists, things have changed. You either make it while you're alive or you'll never make it. Well, Gabby proved us wrong. Now, she didn't self-proclaim herself an artist, but it took tragedy to make her famous. And as they all say, there's the curse of the 27. The most famous people die at 27 and become legends forever. Marilyn surpassed that, however, but Gabby managed to do this with 22. Now, people are talking about the syndrome of the blonde young girl, and that's why everybody talks about her, because she passed away. It wasn't another ethnicity or what have you. But as I said, we're not here to compare which tragedies are worse than others. We're here to talk about emotions. There seemed to have been issues between the couple. Brian and Gabrielle, by the way, just like our Coco, another little connecting dot, if you may, have met in high school. And they've been together for a couple of years already. They were actually allegedly planning to get married. By the way, everything is emotional in this video, hence alleged. Just, these are my opinions only, right? No facts, just emotions and heart. So there seemed to have been trouble. in paradise on the road. Now, you can imagine how it is living in a secluded van together, hiking, tenting, doing stuff. After a couple of weeks, things might get a bit tense in the relationship. Also, there has been one post, I think on Brian's Instagram, of him holding acid, allegedly. I mean, I've seen the photo. I don't know if that's really acid or not. But anyway, so potentially there's also drugs involved in this story. But somebody calls the cops on them because somewhere in the middle of a gorgeous desert, the cops stop their van because an anonymous phone call arrived to the cops saying that somebody has seen an altercation between a man and a woman in front of some bar, in front of their van. He was pushing her away. Allegedly, there were two phone calls. One said that he was attacking her. The other one said that she was attacking him. Okay? The cops stopped the van. She opens the door, crying her heart out. They ask her to move away from the van, ask him to step out of the van. He has scratches on his face, bleeding. Not too much, but you see he has bruises. Also on his arm or shoulder area. And she immediately says to them that it's her fault, that she is OCD, that she was trying to make him stop doing something. He seems relatively calm. He steps out. They see the scratches and the bruises. The cops separate them immediately. There's one cop talking to him, another cop talking to her. More and more cops arrive. We get the camera footage, which is available to everybody on YouTube, from the police officer, Robbins is his name, that filmed, that his camera was the one filming. So he's kind of ping-ponging between the two. Then another police officer jumps in. A lot of mistakes happened in this particular scenario between them two and the judgment of the police. A lot of people online have a variety of different opinions on whether or not the police treated the situation correctly or not. What can we do, you guys? It's too late. Whatever they did, what had to happen, happened. Of course, things can be avoided. They could have sent her up for evaluation, for psychiatric evaluation. They could have, because she was very distraught. She couldn't stop crying, but they didn't. They could have questioned Brian's coolness and calmness, despite the fact that he was all bruised up. He seemed nervous, though. A lot of people interpreted his laughter in that video when the cops were talking to him and kind of buddying up to him as if he were thinking that he's so clever getting away with it, being the manipulator and of the situation and having, I don't know, gotten away with it. I think that his laughter was a hysterical laughter, more of a laughter like he was nervous, so he laughed because there was no other way for him to expel that energy other than through a nervous laugh while they were talking to him. Anyway, long story short, they wanted to actually charge her for whatever. We have to abbreviate everything on YouTube. Oh my gosh, political correctness. But anyway, they didn't in the end because Brian said, hey, I don't want to press any charges or anything. This is my fiance. I love her. I don't want to press I don't want this to be on any criminal record for her. She was on the phone with her parents, allegedly, in the other police car. They let them go, saying, please stay separated tonight. Since Brian is the victim in this case, he doesn't seem to have money, we're going to pay for his hotel. Officer Robbins drove him to the hotel where he was supposed to spend the night without Gabby. Gabby was given the keys of the van, and they said to her, okay, you can drive away. There's a place in the city where you could like shower for $5, take a shower, chill. This Officer Robbins was, oh my God, I wasn't having it. He's like, you can take a shower, relax a little, after taking a shower, everything's going to be better. Then Officer Robbins drove Brian to the other hotel and said to Brian, my wife also has anxiety attacks. And then he started talking about how, since they prescribed pills to her, she's medicated, she's all good. he speaks again emotionally what I feel from this officer. He talks about his wife as if like, yeah, we've sedated her, she's good now, she's a good wife now. You know, you should think about doing that to Gabby, you know, she's going to be a good girlfriend too. That's the emotion that it gave me, and it was vile. And I thought, this police officer, something is off with him. Then he started telling Brian, giving him tips. Oh yeah, you're hiking, you're tendy, you're on the road in the van. You know, when you hit California, definitely Yosemite, Yosemite, Yosemite. He keeps repeating Yosemite. Okay, so it sticks to me now. This whole scenario in this deserted landscape seemed like Twin Peaks from David Lynch, season 3. Well, now we're in season 4. And there's this feeling of pending doom. She does look like Laura Palmer, especially when she's crying. It looked like Laura Palmer to me. And every time, it breaks my heart because every time she looks at the cops, she's not saying it, but her eyes are, they're so helpless to a point where it pierces through your heart to a way that I think those police officers couldn't handle it emotionally. I think it was, no matter how much she was saying, it was her fault that she was, hitting him. The police officer finally, not Robbins, the other one, to make a final verdict whether or not they're going to charge her or not, asked her one simple question. He said, I'm going to ask you one question, Gabby. Take your time to answer, but be very clear about what your answer is going to be. Did you have any intent on hurting him, Brian, when you were scratching him? And she immediately said, no. It felt honest. And then he said, but why were you doing it? And here's one simple sentence that explains it all, I feel. I'm paraphrasing here. She said something in the terms of, I just wanted to make him stop telling me to calm down. I wanted him to stop telling me to calm down. This is manipulation at its best, because somebody pokes at you psychologically, and if you psychologically don't have the strength to fight back, you do get physical. You get physical because you're so desperate. You're just like, shut up, stop it. Stop provoking me. Stop provoking me. And then if they keep poking at you and words aren't enough anymore as your own defense, you slap, you hit, you do something, because there's no other way there's no other tool that you have left at your disposal to defend yourself. Now, whether or not that was the case, again, this is just emotional opinion of mine. As fragile as she was, they let her drive away in a van. They didn't even test him for drugs, alcohol, substance, nothing. And here the plot thickens and we enter a realm of evil. And I'm telling you guys, there's something in the air. This is beyond this story. This story is a catalyzer for something bigger. It felt like season 4 Twin. I thought to myself, oh my God, is this David Lynch's Wisteria project? Was all of this filmed and it's playing out as if it were real? Is this David Lynch's new way of doing television? Because the parallelisms between his work and this story it leaves you speechless. Brian was a big reader of certain books, The Fight Club and all of the author's books, and he was into that dark stuff a little bit, but who isn't? It doesn't mean you're a killer, okay? First of all. But anyway, there's that dark aspect there, but here's where the plot becomes difficult. They drive off the next day together to another place around the 20. Now, this particular video with the cops happened. When did it happen? Somewhere like beginning or mid-August. And then just a week or so later, on the 27th or 28th of August, Gabby passed away. We're not sure. Complications. Brian, around the 30th, 31st, 1st September, kind of 1st of September, arrives back to Florida with the van, Gabby's van, but Gabby isn't in the van. Couple of days he's at home with his parents. In the meanwhile, Gabby's stepdad and mom from New York keep asking, where's Gabby? Where's Gabby? Gabby's last telephone call with them was around the 24th or 5th of August. But the funny thing is, a couple of posts were made to her Instagram profile after that date. People say it's probably Brian who had her phone and access to her Instagram, and he made a post for her. But people are speculating a lot because her last two posts have really long captions instead of really short captions as she was used to making in the past. A cryptic message was sent out to her parents, two of them actually. One asking to go check up on Stan, allegedly Gabby's grandpa, who she allegedly in her text messages never called Stan. She always called him grandpa. So the parents thought it was suspicious. Why would she use the word Stan? And then, of course, we have the abbreviations, you know, people saying, oh, she was sending a cryptic message, meaning send the authorities now. Another cryptic message was something like no reception in Yosemite. Where did we hear Yosemite before? And Gabby never made it to Yosemite. In fact, that's why there was no reception there. So there's that big question mark hovering. What the hell happened with those messages? After Gabby's last phone call or contact with her, allegedly with her family, she disappears. Brian leaves the camping spot and the van and goes hiking. And seems to be very keen on hitchhiking and talking to the people that take him up in a car and kind of telling them that this is because these people came forward, these people that allegedly had him in the car, that took him up as a hitchhiker in their car. They made TikTok videos about this, and they said that they contacted the police and the authorities about this, but they said, you know, he seemed calm, had long pants, shoes on, but strangely enough, a very tiny backpack, and he didn't look dirty or filthy, considering that he said that he was on the tracks in the wilderness, camping for a couple of days. He didn't seem like he had the right gear to do that. And he offered them $200 to take him to the next town, which they thought was really odd. That was a lot of money for it. To them, it seemed like he wanted them to remember him, maybe to have an alibi, because he told them specifically in the car that he was alone for 2 days hiking, and he left his girlfriend at the van because she was doing social media, because Gabby was building up her YouTube channel. They were vlogging their trip across the country. So he said she was at the van building, working on social media while he was hiking. His tracks disappear. He's then in Florida from the 1st of September on. But then from September 11th, a missing persons report is filed from Gabby's family, and the police arrive to Brian's house, where Brian's mom and dad already prepared. Don't talk to the cops. They just hand the cops a paper that says, this is our lawyer, contact our lawyer. We're not talking to you. And by the way, Brian is missing. We went allegedly on a 3-day, after he came back to Florida, we went on a 3-day camping trip, and he didn't come back. We left him there with the car in the middle of the swamp. He never came back home. They're worried that something might have happened to him. The cops by then still consider him a person of interest, not officially completely homicide suspect, because by that point, Gabby's body wasn't even found yet. And here's where David Lynch comes in even more. Now, this story is one of the first stories that unveils and unfolds through social media, more than through the news. The biggest information we received was through people that actually saw them by accident, or because they spoke to them. But they remember a fight between the last official alleged night that Gabby was alive, another girl came forward with her boyfriend and said, oh my gosh, after we heard this whole story, we remembered something. We remembered this place we were in, this restaurant where this girl and this guy were fighting. This was allegedly the 27th of August, the night that she passed away, or the 26th. Close around the moment when she passed away. And they were apparently fighting. Then she was crying. They left the restaurant. He kept coming back in 3 or 4 times to yell at the waitress because something went wrong. If he's yelling at the waitress, I thought, well, then he's probably defending Gabby for some reason. Why would he keep coming back to yell at the waitress? Anyway, then this is through social media. So the cops can find out where that restaurant was. The restaurant did afterwards confirm that it was them in the restaurant, because I guess they have camera footage of it, allegedly. But then another YouTube channel, another camping channel, another channel, YouTubers that travel, with their camper or van through America and film their trips. They post a video saying, oh my gosh, around the 27th or 28th of August, we were driving down this road. And since we saw in the news this van, we remembered that we saw this van somewhere. So we went through our video footage and we saw the van. This is where it gets really spooky, because there's another person who filmed the van as well. Or was it the same? I think it was 2 separate people, because this other person had 2 cameras, one frontal and one filming inside of his car. And inside of his car, he had a bunch of animals and kids sleeping. That's why I remember he had a really creepy dog next to him. So I remember the guy particularly. But then this other video filmed from the front. And as they were filming frontally, approaching the van was parked. So the back of the van, we could see it. This is the scary part. As this person filming is approaching with their car, you see clearly that the door of the van is open. And as he's approaching, the door slowly shuts. Closed. It's chilling, because that's the time when something happened to her. The car passes by. We have the camera filming from inside of the car to the side of the van. There, a really spooky thing happens, because of course the glass of the van reflects the trees and the sky. So there's a lot of shadows forming inside of the van, the driver's seat. So it seemed to be empty, the driver's seat, and whoever was next to the driver, both seats seem empty. Whoever was in the van was in the back of the van, sealed shut. There was a flip-flop behind the van on the floor, as if it fell off, and it was just laying there on the ground. But one still frame really scared me and gave me the shivers, because it's just a shadow. It's not a real person. It's nothing. It's literally just your mind playing tricks on you, just like David Lynch would do in Twin Peaks. But nevertheless, in one still frame of the front of that van, you see this ghostly figure, a bald black figure with frizzy, it's bald, but it has like frizzy hair on the sides with a crow-like nose. And it's just a shadow, and it's just the reflection of the trees and everything. It's literally also pixelated. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that that spirit wasn't there. It's the emotion that was there. And it looks so creepy, as if evil was there. Now, David Lynch is famous for his woodsmen, his black woodsmen that are usually running around cars and vans, and they can jump into cars and vans, attack and kill and make people disappear. But because these YouTube videos of these other campers popped up, of the van and the location of the van, the feds, police, whoever were capable of finding that location, and very close to that location, in the creek, they found her body. Something evil is happening to a point where it just feels like it in the air since a while now. in Twin Peaks, what David Lynch describes as good and evil is a balance of forces. The fictional character Bob, who possesses men and women, takes over their body and makes them do evil things. Once they thought that they captured Bob, the body, the vessel that he was inhabiting, passes away. And they're not sure if Bob passed away with the vessel or if Bob left somewhere else. And they ask themselves in Twin Peaks in that episode, what do you think Bob is? And they come to a conclusion. I think Hawk actually came to the conclusion and said, well, or maybe it was Cooper. They said the conclusion was, well, maybe Bob is just the evil that men do. And the first question that came to my mind when I saw that scene of that one dude in the car filming as he's approaching the van and the doors of the van slowly shutting closed and there's only black darkness inside there, you cannot see anything but pure black darkness in there, sends shivers down my spine. The first thought that came to my mind is, were there many owls around that place? It seemed like a place filled with owls. Another element of Twin Peaks and David Lynch, and here we are now. A lot of things happened in between. The FBI has an arrest warrant for Brian because he picked up money off of Gabby's credit card after she passed away. He's gone. He's missing. As I'm filming this, who knows what happens? Who knows what happened if they found him or not? But they were looking for him in the swamp. There's no surviving a swamp for over a week. But allegedly, people have been sending to his Instagram DMs, and they're reporting that the DMs have been open and seen. Now, Brian's mother and father allegedly reported that when he went missing, he did not take his phone and wallet. He could have had a burner phone. They could have given him some other phone. Doesn't matter. I mean, he knows his password to access his own Instagram. He can access it from another phone. But because his phone was left at home, allegedly, maybe the feds have access to his Instagram account. Maybe the feds are opening the DMs coming in. I don't know. But he's, as of now, as to the best of my knowledge, still missing. People are accusing him of being the culprit. Spoiler alert for Twin Peaks. I'm not going to say who, because for those of you who didn't watch Twin Peaks, but the person who had Bob in them was also a victim. The person who killed Laura Palmer was also a victim. And here is the heartbreaking part which makes Twin Peaks so valuable as a lesson to us human beings. And it's the most difficult thing to digest and to accept, that things are not black and white always in this world. And the perpetrator can also be a victim. Guilty of a crime, yes, but nevertheless, still a victim. And we should not be too quick to judge what actually happened. What implications were there? Gabby was supposed to allegedly meet a dear friend of hers. She didn't have many friends, but there was a dear friend in close around that area where she passed away. And the friend did come forth before Gabby's body was found and said that, you know, we were supposed to meet up, but Brian is very possessive of her, doesn't want her to meet up, to go out, you know, doesn't want her to be in the bars alone and this and that. And Brian sometimes sees things and has difficulty sleeping. Now, after they found Gabby's body, this friend stopped talking. All of a sudden, stopped talking. We do not get information from the family, Brian's family. They're very silent. Everything is so cryptic. And all we get are these shots, cameramen, dozens of them, positioned in front and to the side of the Laundrie house, Brian's family's house in Florida, filming it from all angles. The house number is 4343. Interesting number, isn't it? Lynch would have a lot to say about 4343 as well. And there's that silence surrounding that house, as if it's just like the Palmer house, except it has one floor, not two. Well, it doesn't, maybe it has two, but you know how it is in Florida. Usually they're low, also because of hurricanes, and you don't want to build high. It's risky. In that area, they're all low. But it looks like a Florida version of the Palmer house. Scary place. Looks super clean. It looks like your rural neighborhood, your rural Americana. But then again, Haddonfield, Illinois from Halloween also looks just like that. And John Carpenter made it look like that for a reason, to make it even more scary. Last night, in one of these live streams of these reporters that are filming in front of the house nonstop, they just position their camera and you're just watching as the sun is slowly setting on this house. As the sun was gone, a little bunny rabbit, I think does it get more Lynch than this? You know how Lynch loves his rabbits? A bunny rabbit hops onto the lawn in front of the house, in front of the entrance door of the house, and just sits there. There's reporters everywhere, people are filming, cars are passing by. The rabbit does not give a half a hoot or a toot for everybody around him or her. The bunny rabbit just keeps looking towards the house, then putting the head down, cleaning themselves, looking towards the house again. And then slowly the sun was gone completely. At that point, I turned off the live stream. And couldn't help but have that heavy feeling on my chest of this balancing. There's something evil happening that needed to be. It's like this, as I said, in Twin Peaks, what they do is there's this balance of good and evil is not, you can't defeat evil and you can't defeat good. Evil sometimes takes and sometimes good takes. And there's these huge balancing forces that happen from time to time to readjust the clocks. And it felt like something happened that night. Something so evil that we can't accept it. We can't process it. We can't digest it because it's so pure that it can drive you insane. Pure evil drives you mad. Because why? Because there's no logic to it. Good human beings try to always find logic behind things that happen. Somebody was evil. Well, what was the reason? There must have been, we try to rationalize everything. Well, this type of evil, you can't rationalize. And when you can't rationalize a certain type of evil, it can drive you insane. So this case is very special because it is, in a disastrous and horrific way, poetic. Because it describes human nature to a T, and the fear and the pain and the love, codependency, addiction, friendship, family, everything. And also, to a T, it describes human emotions and how we are prone to gossip and to wanting to know what happened. How did it happen? And here we are sitting, looking at live streams day and night, trying to figure out any clue, any extra detail, whatever piece of the puzzle might still be out there that we could kind of put in place and figure this thing out. Because something so evil, if we can't find reason to it, if we can't find a logic behind it, we can't cope. We can't cope. And that's why a lot of people, start calling him names and really bad things, just because it hurts them so much to face the truth that they would rather themselves start using bad words to describe the potential perpetrator of this crime, because as of now, nothing is proven. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Oh my God, you guys, I just got breaking news in. So apparently John Walsh on CNN has new intel because they released Gabby's body to her parents. The funeral is actually today or tomorrow. So the autopsy report is there, or part of it. And apparently, so John Walsh on CNN has intel that Gabby was allegedly beaten to death. That's how Laura Palmer died. And the scary thing about Laura Palmer in Twin Peaks, that night, in an abandoned train wagon, not a van, but in the forest, she decided to die. Because dying for her was less painful than going on living. Jack says, oh my God. Yeah. Stephanie says, oh my God. Andrew says, holy crap, beaten to death. Wow. KDF says, I'm so glad you're talking about this, Dacob. I knew she was beaten. The anger. Jesus says, oh man. VLTN says, chills. Stephanie says, I can't imagine the fear she felt in those final moments. Olivo says, my heart is breaking into a million pieces. I remember Molly Tibbetts also. I cried myself to sleep when they found her body. I lost it. I have watched the body cam footage of the cops several times. But what gets me every time is when they open the door of the police car where she's in. She looks at them as terrified, but at the same time as lost and innocent as that bunny rabbit was on the lawn. I almost felt when I saw the bunny rabbit on the lawn, I was like, oh my God, it's her spirit coming back to the house. And I lost it because she's, what can you know you can't help. You know it's too late. You know she passed away. You see the fear in her eyes. You see how lost she is. You see how... And you see, and what made me cry is not just her pain. What made me cry is the fact that the police were lost too. They couldn't deal with this. There was something so pure and innocent about her pain, and it was so honest and so brutally honest that she hypnotized them, not willingly. They literally just say, here's the key to the van, go. Just go. You guys. And as much as, Brian, they want to catch him and guilty, not guilty, whatever. They were together for years. He didn't just pick her up hitchhiking. It's not something took a hold of both of them. What went down there is beyond our understanding of one person killing another person. This feels like so much more massive. He, to me, has an innocence to him as well as she does, in a different way. I know you're going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? He manipulated, he was terrible. Yes. As majestically creepy as a lot of the things people are saying about him are, I watched their vlogs. I see his body language. He doesn't have an aggressive body language. There's this one scene in one of their vlogs where Gabby is taking from the van a plastic container with like porridge or cereal with some chocolate. And because it's very hot, the chocolate kind of melted. And she's kind of talking to the camera. He's doing yoga In most every shot, he's always doing yoga, stretching, chill. And she's like, yeah, so I'm making this food, and oh, the chocolate melted. And then he kind of steps up from his yoga mat, comes to her, and he's like, oh yeah, you got to be careful with that. And how he moves his hands to look inside of that bowl, he has a very delicate touch. His body language in the videos I've seen is not aggressive. His body language is not of a killer. Now, did they take too many drugs, acid, whatever, allegedly? Did that make them go cuckoo? People are also alleging, well, you know, if people are schizophrenic, usually schizophrenia starts showing up in the early 20s, blah, 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 all that stuff. Yeah. Okay, everybody wants reasons. Everybody wants solid truth. But you guys, I hate to break it to you. I don't think we're going to get solid facts and truth in this story, because this goes beyond our legal system. This thing goes beyond our understanding of human nature. This transcends that and goes into realms that maybe our great ancestors knew how to deal with it. We have unlearned how to deal with it. We have unlearned how to understand it. We have unlearned how to cope with it, because it's bigger than us. And something like this can be overcome only as a community, I think. Only if we unite can we together find the strength to overcome this. Because otherwise, if we isolate and we start bickering between, no, but look, he did that, but she did that, but he's guilty, but she's guilty, that's when we lose and evil wins. We got to put aside all the theories and just let the emotions flow and unite in love, because the amount of evil forces that took charge that night when she passed away, there's no explaining them. There's only overcoming them by unifying in love. It's that simple, you guys. The solution is right in front of our eyes. It's that simple. And yet, of course, we will prefer to keep on gossiping. Of course, we will prefer to keep proving each other wrong. Of course, we're going to continue trying to prove ourselves on the YouTubes who's the biggest authority on this case or not. Nobody is. We're all losers. The second an innocent life is taken, we all lose. And at that point, it doesn't even matter who's guilty or not. We're all guilty. And this is the point I wanted to get to. Watching that footage of the police cam, I felt guilty. I felt the guilt of humanity for something like this to happen. I'm like, we humans are capable of this. I'm so ashamed, so guilty. And this is what David Lynch's movies are all about, what his shows are all about. They keep explaining to us and teaching us how to cope with that guilt. They keep explaining to us and teaching us how to deal with it. I don't know. I don't even know if there's a beyond. I mean, a lot of you believe in paradise and hell and all that stuff. To me, we've lost innocence. We've lost innocence on that fateful night. So that's all I wanted to say, you guys. Thank you so much for the chats. I hope that this video, once it's published, that people read the comments and also get inspired. And Angela Kiss is so sad how love can turn into murder. Abusive men are 95% more susceptible to take someone's life, says Paris. Thank you, Sar.
Sarah Braxis donated $2. The analysis, conversation and commentary is so moving, insightful and compelling. More of this, please.
I can't hear Bubbles, so I have to read the comment that you just sent, but I have to find it first. Sorry, guys. Just a second. And while I'm trying to find it. Oh, there it is. The analysis, conversation, and commentary is so moving, insightful, and compelling. More of this, please. Thank you so much, Sarah Braxis. Thank you. I just want to leave my emotions in this video. This video is about my emotions, and I'm sharing them with you. And so if these emotions touch anyone, I'm happy. If these emotions make us unite in any way, shape, or form, I'm happy. And thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Not all topics are this hefty and painful, I promise. But from time to time, we need them, because it's not like life gives us a choice. Life just keeps going. You think life is what happens while you're making plans. You're making plans while you're doing that behind your back. Life just happens. It doesn't stop for anyone. D says, I'm so sad that I missed this conversation. I'm so invested in this case. It's just heartbreaking. I will be posting it. I will be reposting this live. Don't worry. So you can watch it again. Nicole says, thank you for talking about this, Dacob. Thank you, Nicole. I'll also be watching this after. Thank you, DST. Sharon says, I will watch this back. Think I'm here now. Alrighty, guys. Great. I'm so happy that you're going to watch it again once it's published. Lynn went 10. Thank you, Decorum. I think you meant Dacob. A fitting commentary to poor Gabby. And wherever she is now, after she has passed away, her purpose in death is to teach us all love. You know, that's the only reason you can think of to move forward without going crazy about how pure evil can be. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, never were these words more important than now. Never forget to never give up on love. Love you all. See you soon. Take care. Bye.